we're not all experiencing the same reality. Fifth dimension has always been here. Cities of light have been here. When you awaken to the higher truth, we bring more light into ourselves. This planet has been in this frequency loop, just one war after the other, one war after the other. And now I don't believe that these wars are going to last for that long. I feel that because of people are awakening, because we're having more light in the planet, it's photonic fields, nitrogen and hydrogen that is coming from the sun. All of this is awakening and assisting us for this divine plan that is happening right now.
Marcela,
Thank
welcome
you.
to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Let's kick off the podcast in true traditional, my style anyway. And I love hearing people's responses, is that if you were at an intimate dinner party right now, or somewhere and you were with strangers and they asked you what you did for a living, how would you respond?
What I did for a living, I bring light into the world and assist others to ignite their light and unconditional love. It's much needed right now.
Very much so. It very much so. And because obviously you're living up in northern New South Wales, you're in Byron Bay. It's I guess very accepted that, you know, in that area. But if you're maybe outside of that, what is the general response, and what does light mean to you when you say you let the light in as well?
Yeah, Guy, we travel a lot. I travel to South America, Tibet, Egypt. I mean, we just went to the US and just now Antarctica, which I'll talk to you about it more. But whenever I travel as well, I meet people who are always searching for something more. And especially now with people asking, what is happening with the world? How is it going to change now? How am I going to be part of this big change? And other people don't want to know about it. And that for me is about the love. That light is love, is a force. And I feel very much aligned with that. And I like to assist people to realign to the core of what we are as a source, as an energetic beings, not just as these human women, men walking about. We're so much more than that. And I do talk about this a lot, even with people when I meet them at the markets here in Byron. But I grew up in South America, and I feel that what we grow within, it manifests without. And so for me, it wasn't always so serene and beautiful and accepted as it is now in Byron, but it shows how much we grow. And when we grow like this, life takes us into a new path and we follow the algorithms. And so we meet others that are on a similar wavelength and a similar way of thinking, and also awakening, because so many people are awakening right now. So I feel my journey has taken me from the war in South America to here in Byron Bay. It makes a huge difference when we do the work.
No, everything resonates in what you share. And what's coming to me to ask you is about what is in the way, or the perception of what's in the way to let that love and light in, you know, because many of us, or many people, might not even have experienced an unconditional love, and they wouldn't even know what that feels like. But also, if you look at the world right now, the perpetuation couldn't be any further from that. But yet when we're with people and having conversations, they're two very different perspectives of what's going on the planet.
Well, let me start with something. We're not all experiencing the same reality. We're all experiencing our own reality, and there are collectives. Let me start first that we are multidimensional beings, and many beings on the planet are awakening to that multidimensionality, the cosmology that is awakening in many, many beings now. For me, it's been 25 years, and even since I was a child in South America, I always walked between two worlds. which I meet people that are in that conundrum right now. And one day they're looking at the wall and they're horrified, and the next day they're feeling at peace and something, just feeling these photonic fields. We are receiving so much radiation at the moment, so much light at the moment on the planet, that all of these third dimensional denser frequency is this membrane. It's like the icebergs in Antarctica or Patagonia. They're just this membrane, and it's opening up and bringing up so much that people didn't know that it was there, but it's always been here. Fifth dimension has always been here. Cities of light have been here. The fairy kingdoms have been here. It's just when you awaken to the higher truth, we bring more light into ourselves. So to answer your question, how do we bring that back now, this part of what's happening in the external world during the war, or all these wars that are happening now? My feeling and my strong feeling is it's not going to last years and years on end like this planet has been in this frequency loop, just one war after the other, one war after the other. And now I don't believe that these wars are going to last for that long. I feel that because of people are awakening, because we're having more light in the planet, these photonic fields, the sun rays, this nitrogen and hydrogen that is coming from the sun, it's awakening all of us, even the waters that are melting from Patagonia and Antarctica. So all of this is awakening and assisting us for this divine plan that is happening right now. For those who are going into fear, for those who are suffering and that the vibration is contracted, so it's expanded or it's contracted. And what I would say to those people, which I do meet a lot, is that we need to be gentle and appease each other, and it's okay, this is going to pass. We've been to America and we met all different people from all different dimensions and thought leaders that are, some of them very much into the fear and other ones very much into the loving energy. But I believe we have to go within. We have to. If you never meditated before, you can start breathing and being grateful for being here during this great time of ascension and allowing yourself to start stepping into the light, that we are beings of light, that you have love inside of you, and that we can allow that force to start setting up itself into motion so we can expand our field rather contracted. And I talk a lot about the simulation, because this is a game, and so to appease each other, but we take it very seriously as well, because we're here, but we're here also to anchor the light that we are, but to awaken to that light. It's a journey, it's a process, but that's what we are innately in ourselves, to bring these virtues of compassion and mercy for ourselves first, to start loving ourselves first, to start forgiving ourselves first. And then we can forgive others. And that is a journey on its own. I walked through my own journey with all of this, what I share, that forgiving myself, for loving myself more, for allowing the new things coming in, new ideas coming in. Is to, if anybody that is in fear and they want to open themselves up to these new energies that are coming in, fifth dimension and beyond, then allow yourself to love yourself. I'm going to do one thing at a time, one small step at a time. And there are, some people are taking big leaps, of quantum leaps. You can change timelines. And that's what I teach a lot. But allow that fear and love is a choice. Light and dark, you can choose. We choose. I choose light. I'm in alignment with the light. I am provided by the light. And you start saying that every day, in the morning, afternoon, at night. And it's like a screen that goes over, and your whole body starts lighting up. I'm a teacher, so we teach a lot of this simple, a lot of these words of consciousness that activate something in your body. It's simple. Joshua bin Joseph taught this. And these are the teachings of Kuan Yin as well. So I'm going to share with you a few during this conversation. But this is the first one. I choose the light. I'm in alignment with the light. I am provided by the light. and you feel it in your body. You talk to every cell in your body and you start the day differently now. We
Love
can
it.
do this any day, anytime. When you're washing the dishes, you're taking care of the babies, you're driving in the car, and watch what starts to happen. And then I'm going to share other words and other things that I can share very practical. They're not mantras, they're activations. Yeah, it opens up the codes that you have inside of you. We love teaching, and I'm going to teach more. So, and Quentin can come in also to teach. Yeah, to share
Yeah,
because it gives us hope. No, some people just don't have hope. And I say, yes, there is hope. Always hope. There's always a way. Always. We just have to find it.
absolutely. And everything
Mm,
you're saying right now, I'm just like a nodding dog, I'm just like going, yes, yes, yes.
mm,
I couldn't agree more.
yes, mm,
The saying that comes to me, we have to sometimes be dismembered to remember. And that
yes,
sat with me for a
yes,
long time, and with the very things that you share. But interestingly enough, as
yeah,
well, there's so many little things you've mentioned that I want to hook into, because even on my own journey per se, like we were speaking the other day, but until I started
yeah,
having these visceral experiences of within my body, like
mm,
this activation of letting that light and love in, of having these connections. But it's always
mm,
felt like I'm coming home. It's never felt like I'm going
yes,
away from something. And once I got a taste of that, or an understanding or a new reference point, it got me excited to lean into these possibilities,
mm,
even about the
mm,
simplistic things that you're sharing, which to me feels like about being very present and being very aware and
yeah,
intentional about our actions, our
yeah,
perceptions, and the words we speak. Like,
correct.
but we're so distracted. We're so distracted in this world.
And I think that's one of the things that, especially in third dimension, fourth dimension, third dimension is collapsing. And that's what you see in all of these wars. And so from the fragmentation, it's falling apart. And so that's why a lot of people are jumping timelines now. They can do it incrementally, or they can take a leap of consciousness, fourth field, fifth dimension, and and make a conscious choice that this is where I want to go. This is what I want for myself. This is what I want for my children, for the next generation. My thing is also about generational changes and trauma, healing generational trauma, ancestral trauma, intergalactic trauma, cosmic trauma. And so we have to heal all of them and transform and transcend them to and change our perception of who and what we are. And so I think because we haven't been taught and people don't know who they are. So who are you? What are you? And they say, I'm a mother, and these are the roles we play. But who are you deep at the core of who you? You're a being, yes? So that being has anatomy of a spirit that is complex. It's not complicated, it's complex. Yeah. And so once we understand it, as you said, it's a journey. And once we understand and we take a conscious decision that this is what I'm going to remember, yeah, and realign myself with my heart center and not thinking in the mind so much. And distractions that will always going to be there. There's more now than ever before. You have AI, you have social media, you have so much. But we have to, if we want to make a conscious choice to come back to the basics, come back to our own nature. Yeah. And if you want to be in joy, yeah, not in misery. Misery loves company. You're going to have a lot of company. So you have to take your journey on your own. I went off on my own, and so you feel the calling, you hear a calling of your ancestors. As a shaman, I think a West Coast shaman from South America, I heard the calling many times when I was younger in my 20s, and I had to go back and rearrange my lineage consciously. So I took 12 years of my life just going deeper into what I believe it was my calling. And then I walked into higher realms in multidimensionals. I didn't know it was going to take me anywhere. I knew it was going to be something more exciting and more so than what I was, because I was asking. So we asked and the universe answers without, who am I? What am I doing here? What is my mission? What is my purpose right now? Maybe your purpose might be just to go for a walk in the park. That's my purpose today. Yeah, to calm the mind, yeah, the nervous system down, yeah, and speak to ourselves that way. So I am thyself, to thyself I am true. Yeah. So I am thyself, to thyself I am true. I'm going to be true to me. Maybe my neighbors or the family members, they may not agree, but I'm going to be true to me. What is my truth? And especially for women, when they're being given a lot, or parents or fathers were being given a lot to the children, and then you lose touch with what you are. You know, I worked with a lot of mothers who actually don't know, I don't know what I want right now. And I said, how exciting. Let's start figuring this out together. Yeah. What is it that you really want inside? What is it that the new path that we can be open? Because we all have innate abilities, skills that we're very good at. And then we can go back into and be more creative. Worked with neurodivergent young adults and people with disabilities. I don't call it disabilities, I call it many abilities. They're multidimensional beings. And there were times they went through depression. There were times they could not do anything. And we found a more creative way of working together using creativity, singing, dancing, doing that every single moment. The behaviors that I saw, some people might call it miracles, but it's just finding a gateway that we can tap into. Then I saw the guys channeling. Some of the guys were channeling Jesus. Some others we were telepathic. I'm very telepathic with them. So we were conversing telepathically. And for me, it was such an exciting moment in my life because it stretched my creativity. I love dancing. I love singing. I'm an opera singer as well, which I assist people to activate their voice. And then we don't know where it's going to take us. And I feel that this is the moment where even if you're afraid, even if you don't know, you're afraid of the unknown, just take one step at a time, one step at a time. We ended up doing stage productions with these guys for many years. We danced, we sang, some of them started playing guitar, and we did choreographies, multicultural choreographies. And we didn't know it was going to take us then, So I feel very much that we have to be like a child again, bring our curiosity forward, is to be in a state of wonder. Children are so good at this, and it reminds us of being present. As you said, we can be present. Without presence, all permeates from me. All permeates from me. Yeah. So my frequency, my energy permeates all. And we allow that expansion to be present. And that's why being in the present helps us to open up our essence. And that essence is what love is. We call it love in this plane, but it's actually more of that frequency. It's a force. Yeah. Because sometimes love can be very conditional. It has parameters around it. You do this for me, it becomes transactional. But when we truly let go of the barriers and we start one at a time, I'm going to forgive so-and-so if they harm me, and I'm going to forgive myself for this, and I'm going to allow. And, the truth is that source, I had many near-death experience, which I'll talk about in a minute. I learned during my near-death experience that we are love itself. No matter what we do, what we have, what we choose, we are loved beyond anything that we see here in this planet. The whole universe will bend over the rules just to assist you. To assist one person. That's how important each of us are. When I came back with that it changed my entire life again, to see how we're going to express that frequency, that force that is inside of us. How are we going to start today with the children, with a cat, start with something simple, or with a dog, with animals are groups of consciousness. They also going through ascension. Yeah. And once they become harmonious within that collective, they go up on the ladder. They go through ascension and fifth dimension and beyond, because they're also going through this as well. So all life is transcending. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's so many loops you've opened up in my brain as I'm listening to you right now. And it's like where to go, even from your childhood to near death experience to
Yeah.
the abilities that we have that are untapped, like you were speaking about working with the beautiful group of people that you were, and how you've organically flowed into and created something by just simply following your heart and relinquishing expectation, right? But then
Yes.
the other thing, like there's so many, and the other thing, and I'm recapping, I'm saying it out loud so I can bloody keep up with you, mate.
No, it's a lot. It's a
So
lot.
for me and the listeners. But the other thing I do want to touch on Antarctica, because when I spoke to you the other day, you said,
Yes.
"Oh, I've just got back from Antarctica," and I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's so like every other person you hear goes to Antarctica these days, right?" I think you're the first person. There's only one or two people in my life I've met that have been there, I think. So my
Yeah.
question to you is, why did you go to Antarctica, and what did you discover when you were there? I'm actually here right now at a retreat space in Taupo, New Zealand, and it's beautiful. And it really brings home the difference between understanding this work and actually living it. Because that's what retreats can do and why we're so passionate about it. They give you the space to slow down, to reconnect, and truly let something deeper land. So it's not just an idea, but it's a lived experience. That's why we created Live in Flow. So if you've been feeling this shift in your own life and you know you're ready to go deeper, then come back to liveinflow.co to find out more. Anyway, back to the episode.
Well, yes, I'm very excited to talk about this, and thank you. Well, first of all, my ancestors are from Patagonia, South America, and South in Chile. Yeah. And I grew up with indigenous communities in Chile in 80s, and mainly working through and getting to know each other, but as children. Yeah. But my family didn't follow the Cahuesca. Cahuesca is a tribe that is in Puerto Len in Patagonia. And they didn't really know much about it because there was this stigma about indigenous communities back then in the 1890s, and even now some communities in Chile. So a lot of these indigenous communities where they went through genocide, some of them been horrifically attacked. But my journey went on until I was 29, 30, just to fast forward. I started in the 90s first. I started going to Patagonia, and my auntie was saying, you have to go. And I'll never forget my grandfather, grand uncle, who said to me, never forget it, that you come from the Alacalufes tribes, pueblos originarios. This is original people from Tierras del Fuego, which is the Fireland. Fireland is in Patagonia. And that was a prophecy for me. You know, I was a 5-year-old child, hearing my grand uncle say this. He was doing the chronological tree, but I never forgot this at all because he was speaking to me, to my soul. And when I went through my own adversity, when I was 29, we traveled to Australia and my whole life changed. But when I went in the 90s first, it was when I discovered the most beautiful landscape in Del Fuego, which is where Laguna San Rafael, one of the glaciers is full of fjords in the south of Chile, is full of beautiful landscape, with the biggest glacier in the region. And it started to recede at the time. And so I knew that my ancestry, and I had a lot to do with the glaciers. So I ended up backpacking all along the Andes Mountains, which they are bodies of energies. I connect so much with them energetically. And when I started visiting the icebergs, I could see the icebergs were just starting to dismember. But in the 90s, people were able still to do excursions, expeditions on top of the glacier. And it just started to begin to recede, not at the velocity or the speed that it is now. Then I went back again to a similar place, and then I went back again, and I ended up going to Torres del Paine, where the three sisters are there. And there's so many glaciers, the hanging glaciers are there. Energetically for me is what is there in Patagonia is filled with cities of light in fifth dimensions. It's filled with voids that you can walk into. Parque Queulat is a beautiful park. They also see them here in other dimensions in these places in Patagonia. Then I wanted to go to Calafate in Argentina. There's also big glaciers there as well. Calafate is one of the biggest glaciers in the south in Argentina. Now, was a phenomenon for many, many years where this glacier wasn't receding, but developing more. It was advancing more, not receding. And that was a phenomenon up until 2018, where it started to dismembering, and they had one big breach of ice that just dismembered and collapsed. Bang. So it creates a lot of big tsunamis. Yeah. And so it changes the elevation of the water levels. And the same in this other part known as Raphael. But I really wanted to go to Antarctica. I felt my ancestors crossed the water through the Drake Passage. And I waited for spirit to let me know. And I this time around, my wife and I, we decided that it was time to go. She wanted to go also. She works with also in Bali with coral rehabilitation. And I love the ice. So we just decided this year we're going to make the trip. So it's a lifetime journey for me and for her to go and see. So we went on an expedition, and the expedition, we had to cross the Drake Passage. And when you just start the journey, you go through Patagonia to Ushuaia. Ushuaia is in Argentina. It's a base where a lot of people go there and do scientific research. They do a lot of them. There's also small communities. I met a lot of young scientists there. Really fascinating the way they're doing more research with the water levels and the climate changes and those who are going to Antarctica. So once you're there, you're on the way to the end of the world, in Antarctica. And so when we started the journey, I was very emotional myself, but as soon as we embarked on the ship, we knew that it was just going to be a life-changing experience. And we crossed the Drake Passage. Funnily enough, I'm not very good with water, water levels rising up. And the tide was quite high. It was 4 meters. It was quite high when we were crossing the Drake Passage. But finally we did. It was 2 days, and then you start crossing to one side of Antarctica because Antarctica is so massive, it's huge. And so that was my dream come true. And then we started crossing on the east side, and we went through all of these beautiful islands, Deception Island, and the weather, you have to know, mountains, ice, it is very windy, it's very cold. And this was 2.3 Celsius in the water. So it's very, very windy, but that's when I feel home, funnily enough. Some people will hate it. I just love it. Growing up in the mountains in South America, and so I was so used to the winter cold. But now this time it was next level, and we saw the different pinwheels, we saw the whales. But once we started going through the journey of the whales, that's when I knew my purpose of being there. Whenever I travel, we work with the codes of the eyes, the codes of light that we carry within ourselves. And I have been part of Mission Rama. Rama was a mission that started in Peru in the 70s. And this mission started with the Great White Brotherhood, which is the beings of light. And I'm a lion. And we are the felines as well as the tall things and the starseed. And when, by the way, I always felt like I didn't belong to this planet. I always felt like they dropped me off on a spacecraft and I was waiting for them to pick me up. A lot of starseeds feel it that way. But they did pick me up. A lot of times they came, and I used to travel a lot with spacecrafts. I had my own spacecraft. But those are stories that I tell in my upcoming book. But this time here in Antarctica, I could see the beings that were there, the white light that was coming in from the internal, from the interdimensions at the bottom of the ice, below the ice. And interestingly enough, underneath the ice is desert. It's all desert and volcanic. So parts of the places we went to, especially on Deception Island, there's volcanic activities there. Some of them are dormant, some of them still feels a little bit more warmer when you look down in the water underneath. And when we started meditating, you could see, and because I can see multidimensionally and I go there, there's these beautiful cities of light under the ice in Antarctica. There are beings there. There are the history of humanity. And this is when I saw the future. We could say the future. I come from the future. I believe that we all come from the future. We came to the past to see what we are working with. And in Antarctica, you can see all of the beauty of what is under the ice that is melting on these beautiful tunnels. There are stargates. There are beautiful beings that are working there. They always been there. And so like the cities of light that I work with in Turkey and Russia and a lot of places around the planet, there are cities underneath. And this is not just Tatarian places. They're not just some of them, the Lemurian times, and I connect a lot with them. So when I looked at the future here, it was this beautiful, just white light, all white light. And it's called Hermandad Blanca. That's Michel Rama, where we see the white light or the Great White Brotherhood that assists us to return to the law of one, which is the white light of the brotherhood, the white light of the sisterhood. So it's the white light of brethren of all of us, so we can be at peace with each other. Yeah, because many humans, they treated each other so badly. And this is what is this light that is coming up.
Can I jump in and ask a question? Because you're
Yes,
continuing.
please do.
Because I want to.
It's a lot to unpack.
No, that's for sure. But thank you. And I want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page, because I think many people's different interpretations, including mine,
Yes.
it's like when you say cities of light and beings as well, like, because I've had experiences of actually being in a different worldly place and cities, but if for me it felt like I was on a completely different frequency. Is that what you refer?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to? So as you explain this, that it's there, but the it's not as dense, so it's a different frequency. Would that be the simplest way to put it, or how do you see it?
Thank you for asking. That's a great question to start with, because we are multidimensional beings. Third dimension is where you see the walls. Fourth dimension is a little bit lighter. Fifth dimension is a higher dimensional field. Sixth dimension, the very fluid, the more flexible. Yeah, so it's a much higher frequency, a different resonance that we can go into. And you can accelerate your frequency and arrive to that point where your perception of reality will change. And then you'll start seeing, some people, when they start waking up, they see an angel in their room. That will take you up to another fifth dimensional frequency. And then you have to train your mind to become better than in order to walk through that dimension. And you can do it incrementally, slowly. And fifth dimensional field contains all these cities of light. I call them cities of light, and people call them retreats, and people call it just star seeds, and places that are within the earth. There's so much in this place that I know many teachers who travel in. For me, I travel physically, tangibly. Every time when I go there, I look at my feet and I start looking at my body and I see, where am I? And then for a moment, I'm here now. I'm in Antarctica or I'm in somewhere else in Lemuria or Lyra or another planet. So I know that people, when they're not awakened there yet, they can start the journey by intensifying and accelerating their frequency, and to go up to a higher resonance, to a higher frequency. It changes your perception of the world around you. Yeah. And so you literally in another reality, and you will meet the beings that are in that reality. So if you put this is what we teach. When you experience something in your field, everything is happening here. Yeah, the external world is a perception. Yeah, it's kind of an illusion, the false matrix. But when you go within, at some point you become more flexible. You meditated, you've done some work on yourself, you forgive people, you're bringing more life, you're feeling more joyful. And then you can open up and you start feeling more flexible and more malleable, more holographic. Yeah, it's like, oh, my hand is not there anymore. Wait, what happened to my hand? Or you go and walk through the mirror and you might not see yourself in the mirror. And that's how we'll begin to awaken and to change our perception to a higher resonance. And so then what opens up in the field is the fan. We call it the fan. Players also call it the fan. It opens up from your field and it's holographic. And you say, there I am as a poor child in India. There I am as a pharaoh in Egypt. And there I am as a being in another planet. Yeah. And so we are walking through so many different windows of realities. Yeah. And it changes your reality of solidity dramatically. Yeah. And it takes a little while to get used to it. Yeah. You might scare you a little bit at first. But once you get used to it, and I work with so many people, and many are awakening today, so say, okay, there is a fairy in my garden now. Yeah. Or there is a spacecraft in the beings now. I work with a lot of star seeds. And so there is a star being, an ET in my bedroom. What do I do? And then that radiation will awaken you if it is a good one, because there are some pretty funky ones too. But it will assist you to awaken the process as perceiving these cities of light, what I call cities of light, like they are in Antarctica.
Thank
To
you
answer
for,
your
yeah.
question.
No, I really appreciate it. And another open loop then, just to help our
Yeah.
listeners as well, is
Yeah.
you've mentioned it a couple of times about the codes and bringing in codes
Yeah.
into ourselves. When you speak of codes, how do you see that system working? And is that allowing us to become more of our multidimensional selves through that activation? How do you, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel I'm just going to take one step back to what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, because you have to learn about the anatomy of spirit, your anatomy inside of your energy field. We have territorial fields here above the head. We have the heart center. We have the chakras. We have higher chakras that take us into infinity. We can experience infinity here. We can experience, this is all the things that I experienced over the years with people. We can levitate, we can teleport once you are in these fifth dimensions. But to answer your question is, once you learn how your body functions, you can accelerate it, you can intensify. So your body starts activating these other lifetimes, star seeds, different things naturally. It happens. It's a very organic journey. We just have to pay attention, meditate, and go within. And then these codes that we bring, all of us, especially star seeds and angelic beings, we bring our own codes inside of us. And those codes they can range from so many things, from love, from compassion, bringing equanimity. Yeah. When you're not so reactive to what's happening outside, but more Vipassana meditations, which I've just ran one, helps us to do that when you're in silence for a few days and weeks, months. Then you go into that space of equanimity, which is inside of us. Yeah. So equanimity is that, and it helps us to start opening these codes of light that we all bring. And the codes are like rods of light that are inside of us. So once they open up, you feel that you have more energy available to you. You have bigger portions of vibration available to you. So your energy goes out, expands, and it can go a few meters away. It can go miles and miles away once we activate the heart center, the codes of light that we have inside of us. And there are practices to this. There are also philosophical studies that you can go into. You can study Madame Blavatsky. You can study the Bhagavad Gita, the I Am Presence of Saint Germain. So all these higher learnings that Joshua Ben Joseph, some great masters that have walked this planet, have done this. And I started doing this, being guided with Kuan Yin as well. But what it takes us is to the I am presence, that I am that I am. I am the male, I am the female, I am of that, I am nothingness, I'm not a thing. Yeah, I am essence, I am the essence. And I am that I am, I'll just go into that. Once you activate your codes, if you say I am that I am, yeah, it's a high, powerful mantra. Yeah, I am that I am. For religious people, like Catholic people or Christians, when you talk about Moses, he went to the waters and he would cross the mountains, Mount Sinai, and he went to the other side to cross with his people and the Israelites. Then he found the burning bush, and the burning bush said, he said, what do I tell my people? Who are you? And it says, I am that I am. Tell them I am that I am. Yeah. And so for Christians, they believe it that way. For me, didn't grow up with a religious upbringing. My mother was a bit of a rebel. She had issues with the nuns before I was born. And I'm kind of grateful to that, because I've been open to all religions. And so I didn't know that story until later, much later in time. But when I learned through Kuan Yin as well, I am that I am, what is dust in our body, Merkaba, that accelerates and sets our Merkaba spiral, goes up, the Merkaba accelerates. And that's how we can journey and travel at the speed of light through different dimensions, through spacecrafts, teleporting, bilocating. And once we take dominion of that, we get out of the sequential, linear reality of the left brain. And we go more into the multi-dimensional part of us that is part of the feminine. The feminine is here. Isis, Mary, yeah, it's here to stay. So it takes us into the abstract. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very complex. Yeah. It's complex. It's a lot there too, but yeah, it's complex. Yeah.
There is a lot there. But what blows my mind is because through my own journey, having certain online experiences and the things that you talk about, not that I can just go and activate it at will. It was almost like a come to Jesus moment. You just go, oh my God, the universe has just shown me something to show what is possible. And I come back and then take the next 6 months processing that, because I've been so stuck in 3D, in the Welsh valleys of Wales, thinking it was rugby and beer compared to this other aspect of yourself. So what blows my mind is that there's so many on this planet that are so unaware of what we're capable of. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I agree.
Even though I haven't experienced many things that you're speaking of just now at the same time. But one thing I'd like to ask your thoughts on before we go back into Antarctica, because I still haven't closed.
Yes, I'd like to do more. Yeah.
Is this experience, because when you hear of these things, it can either sound terrifying or exciting, some of the things that you're sharing right now, depending on where you are on your own journey. But it's very, I feel, easy to get caught up into that expansive self, but because we're not happy with the way the planet is or what we're doing, and it can become like I'm running away from this, but we're here to experience this. And what I feel like you're speaking of is bringing this more into presence, into the I am, into the here and now, which ultimately is then showing up in this world and in our lives and how we live.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Exactly. I'd appreciate that. And exactly, because just to get back to what you said at the beginning, so many people don't know what we're capable of, and I see even teachers saying, oh, you're a powerful being, you can do so many things, but people go, how? So how do I do it? Yeah, because I think in this planet, you have a lot of information by now. Now it's time to become it. It's time to embody, and we can still be here. And what's happening in the planet with Gaia, Pachamama, we call it in Quechua, the mother that gives, and she is transcending and changing everything in her own essence. Yeah. And so because of this grand change now, it's an opportunity, it's an invitation for us to grow, to go through this process of ascension that is not going to happen like this again. It's, every 26,000 years, the Gaia goes through her own regeneration and reprocessing like this, like it happened in Atlantis, it happened in Lemuria, but the cities went under the water. Yeah. But this is the re-emerging again, another try and see how we're going to do it this time. That's why you see a lot of teachers, a lot of light workers on the planet. We've never been so many on the planet awakening during the time like this. That's why we're all here for this grand change, because what is happening on the planet now, it's affecting the entire galaxy in this side. People don't know how much it's affecting, even if it's a game, even if it is a simulation game, but it's still affecting that projection. And so we have a responsibility to take on, and I take that responsibility myself. And so to enable ourselves to awaken during this time is to actually go out on a limb a little bit. And you might need to find teachers, you might need to find different collectives and your tribe, a different place to know the truth. And I'm not sure what the question at the end that you asked me is about this.
But ultimately, it's about, for me, I guess it wasn't so much a question, but it was an observation about running away, like using this ascension to not face what we have to work with here.
Right. And okay, that's a what do you call it? It's a pattern. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because in the old like terms, you could use, you go and floating about and I'm just going out there and go through enlightenment. That's the old dogmas and belief systems that we used to have here. And then if you reach enlightenment, you will leave the planet. This time around, the difference is that we are embodying and bringing all that right here, right now. So it's amalgamating and joining the human part of us and the divinity, the infinite expression of us, together in the here and now. So we can still be here. I call it up here. We still be here with all of these abilities, but we're more flexible. We're malleable. We are developing egalitarian communities now. Many communities in South America that I see, and others in America as well. Joshua Tree was an amazing community. Many of these communities are already developing these future, what we call future, but they're here, future communities that are working this way, collaborating with each other, loving each other, giving reverence to the mountains, not conquering the mountains anymore. So it's a change of paradigm for all of us to not just bring love and all this airy-fairy. We're grounded, we're here, but we have our natural abilities that we can keep evolving into. And so that's the big difference of what you're asking, because it used to be like that. Even I work with light workers and they say to me, oh, whatever will be, will be. And I say, no, that's the old paradigm. This is we are the guardianships. We are the guardians. We're given these tasks, assignments to fulfill and to take care of Gaia, to take care of our tribe in a different way to what we've done before, without control, manipulation, without the lies, and just being more authentic and open to each other and revere each other for who we are. So we start one at a time. But we've been to these communities and there's so many communities now and people don't see that. You won't see that in social media.
No, not at all.
You don't. Yeah, but it's here. It's here. And we're creating our own by being the guardians of where we are in Barret. We came here with that guidance from Gaia and from wherever we're given, and we follow that algorithm, and we meet communities that are also evolving. We're all trying to get better at this. We're all evolving. How are we going to bring this sisterhood and the white light brethren and tangibly healing each other, assisting the children? To me, this is the new civilizations of the new children. And that's what I saw in Antarctica.
Thank you for sharing that. And with Antarctica, you mentioned as well when you were tuning in that you saw the future. And are you speaking of something like, 5 years from now, or a much bigger picture of humanity and where we're going, over the hundreds or thousands of years? Like, what did you see?
Well, what I saw and what I experienced there also is the near future, what is here. We call it future, but there is no time or space. In fifth dimension, there is no, you get out of that time and space and you come back into the 0 point. Yeah. And the 0 point, like in the pyramid of Giza, you cross the Giza and you see there's only particles and atoms, and you disperse with that. It's another initiation. But in Antarctica, what I saw was very similar to that, where we are more flexible in future, but it's such beautiful white light, this beautiful white light coming in. The wars are not going to last for that long. The ETs and star beings, there is a disclosure happening now much bigger than before. It's gaining momentum. I'm part of the Intergalactic Federation as well. Antarctica is a place that has a global treaty. So nobody is allowed to go to war there or to take dominion, or conquer Antarctica. No countries in the world are allowed to do that. So this treaty is global. There are bases, though, like Argentina, there is a British and China. China is very involved right now in Antarctica as well, with doing a lot of scientific research. And there actually also been a lot of discoveries about what's under Antarctica. But all of this, what is re-emerging, and when I saw the future, it's a future more collaboration. So these wars are kind of pushing us into, and acting as a trampoline, if you like, to take a leap. It's like one day you're going to wake up and say, oh, it's like I'm in a different vibration. I'm in a different world. What's happening? The war was so hard, but now we are choosing peace and love for the planet. And the more of us that envision that, it's already here, but it's for more collective that will be able to experience that. And this is not that far off. It will happen in our lifetime. The next 10 years are going to keep changing, but there are those who are already in these dimensions. Yeah. And there are those of us who are already working with this. And the new children that are coming in this year, fresh from source, they already created that reality for them. And so we're assisting them. And then the lower realities of these wars that are coming in, it's like they're just slowly going to disappear because people are not supporting them so much. Not anymore. Not like in the past with its frequency loops and the war that happened and the depression and the compression and the oppression of people, of your freedom, of our freedom and fulfillment, which is our right to be here. And so what I saw is basically that this planet is going to be so beautiful. This is going to be what it was in Atlantis, is part of like the core of this galaxy, where other beings will going to come, and we are going to be part of the Intergalactic Federation again. We are going to be part of the cosmic, which is already starting. And in a lot of higher dimensions, it's already started. But now more beings, more people are coming in. So there'll be able to live together, not just with AI, these cyborgs and all of these different, I don't like to call it artificial intelligence, because it is intelligence that is being created by us. It's our consciousness that is being brought forward as a reflection. And the interesting part about it is just that we're going to learn with more integrity that we have in our heart to learn how to use it for the betterment and improvement of humanity, because many other cultures in the galaxy, in the other planets, they use it as well, but in a different way. So we have to have a different morality, accepting a different kind of integrity, that this is what is changing right now and it's happening much quicker and it's going to happen more faster because the resonance, the Schumann resonance is changing in the planet, the acceleration is changing and it's becoming more and more available to all of us. So we can access these energies and we can access higher wisdom, that we can do things differently. We have to change. This requires a change of consciousness, a change of paradigm. That I saw that and I cried and cried, because this is why I'm here. And this is why you are here with your podcast, guys. It's spreading the light and consciousness and knowledge and new data for people that can access this beautiful white light, the codes that are inside of us, that all is right here, right now. And what you need to do is to go into a different timeline, go to bed tonight. And if you want to change the world, you change yourself first. Then you change the reality that you're in. It starts from within. Then we bring it without. And Antarctica, there's so much big. I'm just going to say this about the codes, the ice codes, because I talked to you about this the other day. The ice have codes of the history of humanity that goes back millions of years ago, So hundreds of thousands and millions of years, the times of the dinosaurs. So we, the Lyrans, many starseeds, were very much involved with the history of humanity, with the mineral kingdom, with the dinosaurs that were here prior. And all of this history that people think sometimes they're fables or they're just children's books, actually, they are accurate and it's been here. So Antarctica holds the core of all of our history, with Egypt. I have to say Egypt. Yeah, the Sphinx also. So everything's connected. Everything's interconnected. All the sacred sites around the world. Machu Picchu has the golden discs under the earth. So all of these sacred sites that are protected, and they're not allowing people in because they know the vortex of energies that is underneath the Sphinx, it goes 14 levels. Yeah, 14 levels. That's a huge vortex that is coming up. Yeah, and it's opening up. So all of this, that we are the starseeds of the future, we let these little breadcrumbs for us to follow and activate ourselves for the better future, for this divine plan that was always be there for the next time, so Earth can upgrade itself and Gaia can be part of the more intergalactic community. We're not so isolated anymore. Humanity has been very isolated, very alone, with no assistance, even though it's always been there. But because of the wars and everything that has occurred, it's been very fragmented. Now it's time to wake up. It's time to join the intergalactic family. And that's, for me, it's a very joyful experience. So we can make it joyful.
Amazing, Marcela. Like, I can't believe an hour's gone past on our podcast. I'm just like, holy moly.
Oh my God.
It's like flown. But one thing I want to say before wrapping up the podcast is that just listening to you talk, it really encourages us to be that wonder child again, to be curious and lean into what is possible. I wonder, how can I show up? And the fact that if we change ourselves, we change our perception, and through that we ripple out and change the world. I mean, we've been outsourcing everything for so long, haven't we? We've been looking outside of ourselves for everything, for answers, and now it's like it's all changing. And it's amazing. Marcela, I got to ask you as well, would you come back on the show later in the year? Like, I feel like we haven't
I'd love to.
We haven't even scratched the surface with you, mate. Bloody hell.
I know. I felt like that. I felt like, I wanted to talk so much about this and that. And there's a lot of other things I'd love to bring more teachings into here. Yeah, I'll be so happy to return. And I'm just going to leave you with one more mantra, because you mentioned about the child Be like a child. Every day when you're at home, you can be washing the dishes, you can be cooking, you can be running a company. And you say this, the joy and the laughter is mine. The joy and the laughter is mine. So these are two words that open up two keys of consciousness within your heart chakra. And you say, joy and the laughter is mine, the joy and the laughter is mine, the joy and the laughter is mine. And you feel that energy that opens up from your heart chakra. So I'm going to leave you with that to open up joy, no matter what's happening outside. And you start giggling for no reason. You feel more energy around your heart center. So I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Thank you. Look, thank you so much. It was divine timing. We synchronistically got together. You know, there's no agenda, literally just to have a podcast and share some light and love and wisdom, which you've certainly done. So thank you for all that you do. And it's so wonderful to be able to share you with others. Thank you so much, Marcela.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Guy. And thank you for inviting me. It's been lovely to connect with you and bringing more joy and love to the planet right now, where we all just yearn for it. Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
We're not all experiencing the same reality. Fifth dimension is always been here. Cities of light have been here. When you awaken to the higher truth, we bring more light into ourselves. This planet has been in this frequency loop, just one war after the other, one war after the other. And now I don't believe that these wars are going to last for that long. I feel that because of people are awakening, because we're having more light in the planet, these photonic fields, nitrogen and hydrogen that is coming from the sun, all of this is awakening and assisting us for this divine plan that is happening right now.